Hi, everybody, and welcome to the very first session of the New Year Acceleration International Web Summit. This is DJ Sabanjo, and I am excited to invite you to this program that's been put together specifically to help you to accelerate your progress, to make the most of 2015, make it work for you, working with you to help you make this your most productive year yet. I'm really particularly excited about this particular one, primarily because there was a lot that went into making sure that this event happened. I'm so excited, and I'm glad that you are here with us right now, and I do believe that you're going to get so much value over the next 2 weeks that's going to propel you and to that next level in your life, in your career, in your relationships, in your business, in your work, in everything, in your health. There's just so much. And I'm so excited. We've got 10 of the best speakers from across the world, across the UK and the US and across Africa as well. I'm so pumped up. I must say I've had the opportunity to speak to, to speak to our speakers and to engage with them, and all of them are so committed. Everybody is committed to making sure that we give you what you need to position you and help you make this year an absolutely phenomenal year. Now, my name is DJ Sabanjo again. For those of you who are just joining us, do me a favor very, very quickly before we get into things. I just want to make sure that you can hear me and you can see clearly. So if you can hear me and you can see clearly, in the little chat box there, just type in there that you can. That would be amazing. I want to say hi to everybody, wherever you are in the world, whether you're here in the UK or here in Europe, America, Australia, Africa, the Caribbean, wherever you are, welcome. Welcome. Whether it's good morning or good afternoon or good evening, whatever it is, I want to say welcome. And first of all, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here tonight. And I'm also going to let you know that you're going to get so much value. My name is DJ. I'm actually the one who actually is the convener of this program. And I'm kicking things off tonight, and I'm going to be sharing something that I believe is going to make a massive difference for everybody who plugs in and who tunes in to the information and the knowledge that we're going to be sharing here tonight. I do believe that the knowledge we're going to be sharing here tonight is going to empower you and help you take things to the next level. Now, what is the New Year Acceleration International Web Summit? I guess that's a key question before we get into things. Now, this summit, it's an annual event. It ran for the first time in 2013, and the vision behind this was really as we were moving towards the end of 2012. That's when I had that vision, and the vision really was, a lot of people have the desire to be productive. People want to do well. People want to do well in every area of their lives. And the more I speak to people, the more I realize people do want to do well. But sometimes we need a little bit of guidance. We need a little bit of motivation. We need a little bit of sometimes a kick up the backside just to help us to be able to achieve what we want to achieve. The thing is this: we need clarity. What is clarity? Clarity is when you see a person who is a little bit slow on how they're making things happen, where they're struggling in certain areas. It's usually because they don't have clarity. With clarity comes speed. And so for a lot of people, you're going to be getting clarity over the next 2 weeks. Clarity that's going to ensure that this year, things are going to happen better for you. They're going to happen quicker for you in every area of your life. And that's one of the reasons why we're very particular about who we bring to share their knowledge with you. It's not just people who are knowledge brokers, but we've brought in people who've made things happen in their lives, who have a track record of helping others as well. And we've brought them in because we really want them to help you achieve what it is that you want to achieve for yourself and more in the year 2015. So how do you maximize this event? How do you make the most of it? A few things. First of all, you make a commitment to attend every single session. So don't just attend a few, right? Make sure you make a commitment. Now, these sessions are going to run Mondays and Wednesdays for the next couple of weeks. So this is the very first day. We've got another session at 10 p.m. I'm going to be talking about that in a while. And then Monday next week, we're going to have 2 more sessions, same times, 8 p.m. UK time and 10 p.m. UK time. And then Wednesday, we would have 2 more sessions, same times. and then the following Monday and the following Wednesday. So we have 10 days over the next 2 weeks, Wednesdays and Mondays over the next 2 weeks. So block out these dates, okay? Block out these dates. Don't attend one or two. My advice is attend every single session. I know that the people who tend to get the most value from this event are the people who make a commitment to attending every single session. So block out the dates. Make a decision that the next 2 weeks, it's about positioning yourself for a flight in 2015. And so block out those dates, 10 sessions. Don't do one, don't do two, don't do five, do 10. Make a commitment to do 10 sessions. That's the very first thing. The other thing I'm going to recommend is you get a pen and you get a notepad, or if you've got some electronic, note-taking device, and you know that you're not going to be left behind. Now, what do I mean by that? If you're not very quick on your electronic device, and maybe it might be better to get a pen and a notepad, my advice is get a separate pen and notepad. Get a new one, right? Because there's going to be so much you're going to be picking up over the next 2 weeks. So get a new pen and a new notepad if you haven't done so already. Okay, so get a pen. New, it doesn't really matter, but get a new notepad. Start afresh. It's a new year, so start afresh. Get a new notepad for all 10 sessions. Okay, and take lots of notes and go back to those notes over and over again. Now, if you didn't take advantage of the audios and the audio recordings, because with this particular event, if you missed the live event, you can't watch it again. There's no replay. So if you miss a session, it's gone. However, during the event, you can get the audios at a special discounted price. My advice is take advantage of these discounts and get the audios. Definitely get the audios. And what you want to do is throughout the year, you listen to them over and over and over and over and over again until they become a part of you and they guide. It becomes a part of you, and basically it's almost like it becomes intuitive and automated. You literally just are doing the things you learn. Okay, so it's not about one-time exposure. One-time exposure is crucial. Attending a live event, there is something powerful about attending a live event. But beyond that, you want to go back to it again and again and again. And so you definitely want to do that. Okay, so attend every event, get a fresh pen and notepad, and take as many notes as you can. Just note as much as you can, and make sure you get the audios and you listen to them throughout the year over and over and over again. The delegates, who've attended this event, the last session we ran, the key thing, those who made it happen were those who did those things I suggested. Okay, all right. Now, we're going to be talking about your career. And what I'm going to be talking about here is 4 steps to accelerating your career in the new year. The next session is with Coach Kemi, the thought transformation process that will ensure you achieve this year all that you are born to. So if you feel sometimes that there's more to you than where you are right now, and you're thinking, how can I step to that place where I do believe is where I should be? That session is going to really be covering that for you. Then next Monday, we've got 2 amazing sessions. We've got Andy, we've got Emma. Now, Andy's going to be covering what we call winning the game of impact. So, what is this game of impact and how can you win? How can you make massive impact this year? Andy Cummins is going to be covering that. And then his lovely wife, Emma Chard Cumming, is going to be talking about how you can pinpoint your professional pathway in the new year. So if you're looking at, okay, how can I figure out and work out my professional pathway in the new year? She's going to be covering that next week, Monday. Then Wednesday the 21st, total transformation, mind, body, and business. We have Brian Kenny. Brian's an amazing guy. He's an amazing health and fitness expert, but he's also an entrepreneur who's doing well in business. And this is all about total transformation, mental health, physical health, and then the health of your business. So it's going to be a holistic health development session, 8 p.m., which is 3 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday the 21st. And then 10 p.m., it's with Simone. Simone's going to be covering how to find your true life purpose in less than 60 minutes. So that one session, you're going to come on that one session with Simone, and you're going to find your true life purpose. That's going to be another amazing, powerful event. And then Monday the 26th, we have Rita Okoye. She's amazing. I mean, she's someone who I've worked with over the last few months, and she's when it comes to media and publicity, she is an absolute guru. She worked with the BBC, and right now she's a consultant, and she's an expert when it comes to media exposure for your brand. And she's going to be talking about how to use the power of media to build your brand in the new year. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's good. If you're in business, you definitely want to attend this, because media exposure just makes a big difference for your business. But even if you're not an entrepreneur, right, it still makes a big difference. Media and you'll understand that actually when I talk about what I'm going to be talking about here tonight. Okay. And then also 10 p.m., which is 5 p.m. Eastern time, Teresa Holmes going to be talking about, if what you need to do if you need to move your career in a new direction. So if you're looking at moving into a different career path, or if you've been thinking about it, she's an expert. Again, I've known Teresa for a couple of years. She was actually a delegate on the New Year Acceleration International Web Summit 2013. And she's done so many amazing things before then and since then. And I'm really privileged to have someone who was a delegate a couple of years ago, now a speaker at this event. And maybe that's going to be the same for some of you who are actually attending right now, which would be brilliant. And the final day is Wednesday the 28th. Wednesday the 28th, that's the very final day. We have 2 sessions: how to maximize your current relationships for best business productivity in 2015. Lavelda, she is absolutely amazing. Now, Lavelda is really an expert in networking and maximizing business relationships. And so if you're thinking, I'm not sure about networking events, they've not really worked for me, well, she's going to help you understand it's not just about the events, it's about the relationships. And she will show you how you can maximize the relationships you have at the moment to grow your business effectively in the new year. So that's one session you definitely don't want to miss. And then how to successfully navigate a new career path in the new year. So there's 10 sessions, 10 amazing sessions. You don't want to miss any one of them. Sorry, there's another one: how to transition from me to we after a relationship breakdown. Now that's Zena. You definitely want to attend that one. So this is, you've been in a relationship with, and the relationship, it sometimes happens and they fall apart. And then there's something's missing. How do you handle that? How do you get back up and move on with your life? And make sure that it doesn't affect you in such a negative way. Well, Zena's going to be covering that. It's going to be another amazing session. 10 session, ladies and gentlemen, and you don't want to miss a single one. All right, so tonight, like I said, I'm going to be looking at accelerating your career in 2015. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to switch over to PowerPoint, and I'll use PowerPoint for this session. And for those of you who know me, I don't use PowerPoint a lot, but I felt, you know what, I'm going to use PowerPoint tonight. So I'm going to switch to PowerPoint, and I'll share my screen, and we'll get into things. Okay. All right, so how to position yourself for accelerated career success in the year 2015. Now, so what are we going to be covering during this session? Well, we're going to be understanding why most people never reach the peak of their potential. What's the reason why a lot of people they have a lot of potential, and you know that, and maybe you're someone who is here tonight and thinking there's a lot more to me than where I am right now. Well, what's the reason why I'm not able to express myself the way I want to? What's the reason why where I am right now is not a true reflection of my ability? I know I'm more than this, but why am I stuck here? You're going to understand that tonight during this session. And also, we're going to explore the 4 success factors you must have. What are the things you must have if you want to enjoy speed in your career? Now, this is something that unfortunately most people don't know, and we're going to explore that and help you understand the factors that must be in place if you want to enjoy speed and accelerated career progression. And then we'll look at the 7 critical things that must be in place for you to accelerate your career over the next 12 months. So this is what we're going to be looking at. And let's just get into it straight away. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where you get your pen and your notepad, and this is where you take notes. I'm going to be sharing, a fair bit in a short space of time. So I'll be zipping through this. If you have any questions, just put them in the question box and I'll answer as many as I can. I know we have so many people on here tonight, so I'll answer as many questions as I possibly can. So let's get into this. Now, my name is DJ Sabanjo. Some of you may or may not know me. I'm a career and business growth strategist, and I've been doing this for a short while. Now, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. Now, when I came back to England, just at the turn of the new millennium, and at the time, I thought, because I'd studied, I'd done postgraduate study at the time, and my thoughts were, I'm just going to come back, and when I come back, I'm going to get myself a management role. And this was kind of like what I thought. So I came, and it was a bit of a struggle. I was applying for jobs. I was putting my CV out there, and nothing was happening. Finally, having sent out my CV to about 100 places, and that's no exaggeration. It really, probably more than 100, applying for more than 100 roles. I got an invitation for an interview, and I got that role. It was a station assistant with London Underground. I thought I was going to get into a management role, but now I was getting a role, frontline operations, standing at the gate line, a glorified security officer. That's basically what my position was at the time. And my thoughts were, I'm just going to quickly move up the ranks in the company. Well, that was what I thought, but that was not the case. I just realized I kept applying for jobs I knew I was good for, jobs that I knew that I had them, and it just wasn't working for me. I kept getting rejection after rejection. But not only that, I saw other people who were not as hardworking as I am, and weren't as competent as I was at the time. And I saw them moving up, and it just wasn't happening for me. It wasn't happening for me. So you can understand the frustration. You can understand you begin to think, is there something wrong with me, or what's wrong, or is there some conspiracy? All sorts of different thoughts were going through my head. My career was not growing as quickly as I wanted it to. However, while I was working my business, while I was doing my job, I was also building a part-time business. I'd never done business before. And I started building this business while I was working my job. And even though things were not working for me in my career, they weren't working for me in my business as well. But along the way, I began to learn a few business principles. As I began to learn these business principles, things began to pick up for me in my business. And I identified some core things that were actually making my business work. And then at some point, my business was really, really expanding. And so I sat down and I looked at my career, and I said, you know what? There are some things which are working in my job that I can apply to my career. I learned how to sell, and I learned how to market. So I took these selling skills and marketing skills, and I asked myself, how can I adapt these into my career? And I observed a few things. I observed that selling and marketing was happening. And I just literally took what I learned and I adapted it to my job. And within 12 months, my income doubled, and my career really began to soar after that. And not only did it begin to happen for me, the organization realized, and I was in a position where I started working with others at work and outside work. I had executives at senior level who were calling for me to come and help them and coach them and help them with career progression. It just, I developed a reputation in church, at work, everywhere I was, as someone, I don't like using this word, but as an expert in the area of career progression and career growth and career acceleration. And I did that for a few years until I left the organization, and now I work for myself, growing my own businesses from home. Okay, so I have a track record. I've been there. I've been in the trenches. I've been in that place where things aren't working. I figured out how things work. I know how they work. And I'm saying that quite authoritatively, but also humbly, that I know how to grow your career. I know what you need. If you're stuck in your career and you need help, I am the person, because I've been there, and I've also figured out how things work, and I have helped thousands, and it's not hundreds, but thousands of people accelerate their careers and get out of the rut, get out of that place where they're stuck and move to the next level. And hopefully you can get some of that value here tonight. Now, what's the reason why a lot of people, struggle with their careers and they things just don't work for them the way they work? Well, there's four myths, and I know this because I have coached and I've trained thousands of people in the corporate space, and in things to do with career growth and career development and performance and things like that. And I've identified four myths. These are the four things that I've heard a lot, which just are not true, but a lot of people believe them. Now, as I run through these four, you might identify that actually you may have believed one or more of these myths for a while, and it might challenge you a little bit, but I encourage you to just think about what I'm sharing with you, because hopefully this will give you a breakthrough and help you move your career to the next level. Now, the first myth is what's called the hard work myth. Now, hard work myth is, you know what, if I pour myself into my work, then I should be recognized for what I do, and this is just so untrue. It's so untrue. The truth is, yes, it's good to work hard, and don't get me wrong, I am not saying that, hard work it doesn't pay. Hard work pays, but the assumption that my hard work will talk for me, my hard work will speak for me, is just so untrue. So being the first person in and being the last person out is a good thing to do, but that is no guarantee, right, that you're going to get that career progression and that accelerated career growth that you want. I remember speaking to a client one time, and she was very frustrated. She was a manager in an organization, and she'd been in that role for a couple of years, and she really was not happy. And I was like, what's up? She said, well, I pour myself into my work, she says. He says, but the thing I don't like is my manager takes all the glory for all my work, in spite of the fact that I do all the work and he's taking all the glory. And I'm like, well, so she says, but it's not fair. And I'm like, well, unfortunately, life isn't fair. And she says, well, my work should speak for me. And I kind of chuckled. I said, you know what? Good work speaks, but it doesn't necessarily speak for the person who did it. And see, I'll say that again. Good work would always speak for itself, but it doesn't necessarily speak for the person who did the work, right? When a person sees something that looks beautiful, that looks brilliant, right? That's great. You appreciate a good thing, but that does not mean that you appreciate the person who did it, especially if you don't know they did it, and that's the key thing. So that myth that if I work harder than the other person, if I pour more of myself into my work, that will guarantee my career is going to progress, is a myth. It's an untruth. It's a thing people believe because we were taught that when we were little. We were told when we were young that you go out there, you work hard, and don't be lazy. And when you work hard, you will see yourself moving to the top. Now, please understand, I'm not saying you should be lazy. I am saying it's a wrong assumption that if you work hard, that guarantees accelerated career progression. Moving forward, another myth is a skill myth, and this is a very, very big one. This is, if I get more qualifications, if I am more knowledgeable than other people, then I should be able to accelerate my career faster than everybody else in the room. If I go out and get more qualified, if I'm the best person at what I do, then that should make me stand out, and that should help me get my career on course and move my career to the next level. Now, that is another myth. Again, I remember I was speaking to another client, and with this particular person, she was a frontline manager who was looking to move into middle management with this particular organization she was working for. So while we were there talking, and she was really complaining. She was complaining, and she was going on and on and on. And she says, DJ, she said, this is just wrong and this is unfair. She says, I have an MBA, and I paid for my MBA by myself. Nobody in that middle management position has an MBA. Not one of them has an MBA. So, and she says, and other people are getting the job who don't have an MBA. I think it's unfair, and I think it's wrong. So I asked her a question, says, well, you just told me that none of the middle managers have an MBA. She says, yes. I'm like, so why did you go get an MBA? It's just this assumption that if I just go and if I'm get the most qualifications, if I'm the most skillful person, again, I'm going to go back and say something. Now, these things, so hard work and skill are essential. And I'll talk about that in a moment, okay? But it's a myth, the assumption that if I develop myself, I will stand out and I will recognize and I will accelerate my career. That is a myth that it's an assumption. It's an assumption that is actually not the case. And I'm sure many of you who are listening here tonight, you know people who are very, very good at what they do. And you know they've been applying for jobs over and over and over. And you know they're good enough for those jobs, but they never get those jobs. You know why? Because there is more to accelerated career growth than the ability to do a job. It's good to develop skills, but it's a myth to assume that just because you develop those skills, it guarantees a career acceleration. It's not the case. It is not true. That is a myth. The next myth. Now, this is a very big one, and I'm going to be very careful when I talk about this one. I see this one a lot. This is the face that fits myth. Now, this happens a lot when people, when their career isn't accelerating as quickly as they want it to. What starts to happen is they try to identify how others are hindering them or holding them back. They start to see things. And so I have people say, you know what, it's because I'm black. It's this thing, it's because I'm black, and there's just something about black people, they're racist here. They once they realize you're a black person, they have it in for you. Or it's because I'm a woman, it's because I'm a woman, and the way it's a man's world, and so they just if you're a woman, you just don't have a chance. It's just not going to happen for you. Or you hear it's because I'm young, or it's because I'm old, or it's because I'm gay, or it's because I'm a white heterosexual male. I mean, I get that one right now. If you're a white heterosexual male, you don't have a chance, because it's all about everybody else apart from a white straight man, But and the funny thing is, I mean, I've had the privilege of working with so many people over the years, and everybody thinks there's a conspiracy against any people group they belong to. You know what? And the thing is, if you believe something, you will look for things to validate what you believe. Now, don't get me wrong. Are there people who are racist? Yes. Are there people who are sexist and ageist and homophobic and all the other F's that are out there? Yes, there are. But what I'm trying to say is this, right? You are a part of a people group. And there are people who are in your people group, whatever it is, whether it's women, whether it's Asians or Africans, whether it's homosexuals, or whether it's Muslims or Christians, whether it's Jews, whether it's old people or young people. There are people in the same group that you belong to who are enjoying accelerated career growth right now. The problem is this: as long as you keep believing this myth, right, you will not look for how to break through in your career. So now, I know this is a big one. I know people believe a lot of these things passionately. And don't get me wrong, I do know that there are people who are prejudiced. That is a truth. But for you to believe that this thing could hold you back in your career, and whatever it is, it's a lie. It is a lie. There are people who are in that same people group that you belong to right now who are soaring in their careers and who are making it happen as we speak. And they're going to make it happen in 2015. And I want you to make a decision that you are going to be one of those people who are going to make it happen as well. And now the other myth is, this is the luck myth. And this is the one that really, it makes me chuckle. People say, you're just lucky sometimes, and that's a big one. You know what? That guy's just lucky. And I'll use myself as an example. I remember when I worked in a particular part of an organization, and I decided to make a big move from that part of the organization to another part of the business. And it was a completely different part of the business. And first of all, one of the guys who worked where I worked said I shouldn't waste my time, that people who are like me, again, face that fits myth. He says, one, you are black, he said to me. The second thing he said was, well, you work in this part of the organization. People who work in this part of the organization, and people who are of your complexion don't work in that kind of place, he said to me. Obviously, I knew that was nonsense, right? Why? Because I knew, first of all, that there were other Black people who were working there. There may not be many, but I knew there were, okay? But I went for it. And I got the job. And you know what the guy then said? I heard he said, because I wasn't there. He told me initially, don't waste your time. It's a waste of time. You're not going to get the job. The next thing he said was, you know what? He's just lucky. You know, and that's what he started telling people. And obviously I heard. Now, that's nonsense. You know, don't get me wrong. Sometimes people do get lucky. It happens. But, you know, when you see a person whose career is progressing consistently, you think that's luck? You know, I mean, that's ridiculous. When you see a person who comes into an organization and within 2 years, it's almost like their career's on steroids. You know, it's not luck. It isn't luck. It's a big myth, and it's a wrong assumption to assume it's luck. That's another myth. You see, because if you believe in luck, then rather than doing what it takes, you will just be waiting for your own lucky day. And you know, unfortunately, sometimes, most of the time, actually, you need to make your own luck. You need to make your own luck. Okay, so it's not just hard work. It's not just skills. It's not about having a face that fits. And it's not about being lucky. One key thing you would realize is everyone who is a high flyer, when you see a person, anyone, and I challenge you to observe, when you see anybody whose career is soaring, where things are happening for them very, very quickly, and you just see they come in and things are happening for them very quickly, they are strategic in how they grow their careers. It's not just happening by luck. It's intentional. They're doing specific things that are focused on helping them grow their careers. And these are the things that I'm going to be sharing with you tonight. Everyone who is a high flyer is strategic in how they grow their careers. Successful people take strategic actions to move them from where they are to where they want to be. The key word there is strategy. You know, they have a winning strategy, and then they basically apply that. This is what I learned in business. I realized that for business growth, you've got to be strategic. It's the same thing with your career. It's the same thing with your career. So now, these are the 4 success factors that you must have to enjoy speed in business, but also in your career. And we're going to look at all 4 of them. We're going to look at all 4. Now, like I said, I learned this in business, and I looked at adapting it to my career, and it worked for me. And I began to share this with others, and they began to get really amazing results. It was, I mean, there's so many of them. I'm not going to go into them here tonight because we don't have a lot of time, and I've got a lot to share with you that would add value to you. So the 4 success factors you must have to enjoy speeding your career. Number 1 is product development. Number 2 is packaging. Number 3 is positioning. And number 4 is promoting. So what does this look like? Now, first of all, let's talk about product development. Now, you are the product. You are the product. Now, this is where the skills development and having the right attitudes and the right behaviors. Now, this is the one that most of us tend to pay attention to. Now, remember, there are 4 factors. Unfortunately, we spend like 95% of our focus is on this one. And I would suggest you do a 25, 25, 25, 25, because they're all important, rather than pouring everything into this and then trying to focus 10% on the other 3. But this is where, you know, making sure that you're up to date with all the latest theories. You are up to date with the most current practices in your industry. You're consistently upskilling yourself. You're attending events. You're reading. You're developing yourself. You're making sure that you stay relevant. Okay, so you know you're not using version 1.0 when everyone else has moved to version 3.0. You know, developing, because at the end of the day, you are the product. You are the product. And you know, I'm not going to go into things around attitude. Now, this is stuff that we know. You know, this is the stuff that we do. So I'm not going to dwell on this, but I will say it's crucial and it's important. Invest in developing yourself. Yes, you want to develop the right attitude. You want to be hardworking. You don't want to be lazy. You want to make sure that when you're in a meeting, right, that you're able to contribute and your contributions make sense. You know, you want to make sure you understand what's going on. You want to make sure that you're good at what you do, that you're highly skilled at what you do, right? Because at the end of the day, you can't give what you don't have. If you don't develop yourself, if you don't invest in developing yourself, then you're not going to be able to give much. So key thing, and I'm not going to dwell too much on this, but I am going to say this: focus on developing yourself in your professional capacity this year. Invest in developing yourself professionally this year. Now let's move on to the next one, which is packaging. Now, packaging is really crucial. People always judge a book by its cover. Packaging is crucial. It's crucial. It's important for you to create a brand. And I know we talk about branding a lot with organizations, but you've also got to create your own brand. You've got to brand and package yourself. How do you separate yourself from others? And this is what packaging is really all about. So packaging is the whole picture. What does you represent? And I'm going to go into this in some detail tonight. So this is the second factor: is what you represent. What are you about? And it's not just about how you dress. I mean, that is a part of it. Okay, you want to look professional. You do want to look professional, whatever professional means in your industry, because that's another thing. What's professional in one industry would really look kind of weird in another industry. So understand what professional looks. I'll give you a piece of advice, right? Always package. Now, I'll talk about dressing. Dress for the next level, okay? Don't dress for where you are. Dress for where you want to be, and that's a big one. I'm sure you've heard that phrase. You've probably heard that phrase before. But dress for where you want to be, not where you are. That is a big one, you know. So, but I'll go. There's a lot more to packaging than that. But I'll be talking about that in a moment. The next is positioning. Now, positioning is you need to be visible. It's no point, being good if the people who matter don't know you. See, people and wow, understand this. This is one that a lot of people struggle with. You want to position yourself so that the influencers and decision makers know you. It's not good enough. It's not enough for you to be good at something, but the key decision makers need to know that you're good at something. Because when a decision maker is going to be making a decision about who to give opportunities to, they're going to give opportunities to those that they know or believe can do it, not to those who can do it, but those who they know and believe can do it. So if you don't position yourself, if you're good at certain things and the people who should know don't know, it's your responsibility to position yourself strategically so they know you, they know what you're good at. And I'll share a few things about how we can do that, okay? But it's really essential. This is a big one. And there's so many people who are hard workers who just come, they just put their head down, they get into their work and they do their thing, and they're making a big difference. The only problem is the key influencers don't know. And if you're relying on someone else to blow your trumpet, right, it may happen, but most likely it's not going to happen. Okay, so, and that takes us to the next thing, which is promotion. Promotion basically is bragging, selling yourself. You want to be able to sell yourself. Promote. This is one thing I learned in business that I had to adapt to my career. You've got to learn how to blow your trumpet without coming across as obnoxious, arrogant. Now, a lot of people struggle with this. They think, I hate that. I hate doing that. I don't want it to come across as if I'm trying to. Well, you know what? If you don't do that, it's not going to happen. You need to learn how this year, 2015, if you want to enjoy accelerated career progression, one of the things you will need to learn to do, is you will need to learn how to sell yourself. You will need to learn how to promote yourself, how to get yourself out there so the people who should know about you do know about you. So yes, you want to develop yourself, but a key thing here is you want to learn how to package, how to position, and how to promote yourself strategically. How do you package yourself? How do you position yourself? And how do you promote yourself strategically in the year 2015 for accelerated career progress? Now, I said this before, I'll say it again. The decisions are made based on what people have seen or heard about you. They're not made on what you're good at, what you can do, but what the decision makers have seen or heard about you. And so if you haven't learned to sell yourself, if you haven't learned to get yourself out there, if you haven't positioned yourself so you are visible, if you haven't packaged yourself in a way that is attractive, that makes you look like you're ready, then it's probably not going to happen. And that's why you need to do that, because this year has to be a different year for you. Okay, so a few things you do need to have in place. And one, you need to have a well-defined career destination. Big one, right? With your career, you need more than an idea to create a strategy. So, for example, question, where will you be 12 months from now? You just need to have a clear, well-defined career destination. Where is your career going to be? You know, and you need to move from a place of this is where I want to be, because you see, it doesn't work that way. This is a bit of a mindset thing. Later on tonight, you're going to be hearing a little bit more about mindset when Coach Kemi comes on. But mindset is really crucial. Career destination is not this is where I want to be by the end of 2015, but actually this is where I am going to be by December 2015. See, that's what I mean when I say a well-defined career destination. You're very clear about it. You can see it. This is a crucial thing. You need to see it. You need to, and your language needs to reflect it. You need to say, by December 2015, I will be here doing this. This is where I'm going to be in my career. This is how much I am going to be making. All right. This is not delusion. You're not deluded by doing this. What you're doing is this until you see it in your mind, right? The whole of you, because for you to be able to make this happen, the whole of you has to be involved, and the whole of you will only go towards something that it believes is there. So until you see it, you will be trying. And this year, you can't try to accelerate your career. You must accelerate your career. Okay. Now, the second thing you need to have is a failure-proof action plan. Now, now the key word there is failure-proof, which is, okay, this is my goal, but you now need to have a strategy, a failure-proof action plan to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Now, if you're sitting here thinking, well, DJ, how do I get a failure-proof action plan? I will share with you the formula for action, for an action plan that I use, and I'll share it later. Before we finish, I'll share that with you that I use and that I recommend others use as well. Now, the other thing, third thing you want to do, these are critical things you want to do. So the second critical thing is you want to have a failure-proof action plan, okay? A plan that you can follow. It's a step-by-step executable action plan, things you are going to do to get you to where you want to be. Now, number three is identify the key players in your industry. So where is it you want to be, and who are the people who are making it happen in that industry? Now, career growth as well as business growth is all about relationships. Now hear that again. It's all about relationships. Now, you may whinge and moan about that guy or that girl in the office who is building strategic relationships. You may say they're sucking up to the buses and they're doing all of that. You say whatever you want to say, but you're going to watch their career soaring. Well, not this year, because you will not do that, right? You will identify who the key players in the industry are, and you will build strategic relationships with these key players. The higher up you want to go, the more important these relationships are. It's just crucial. They need to know you. They need to know you personally, right? It's fine that you're good at what you do, but they need to know you. They need to get to know you and know that you're good at what you do. And there's ways you can do this, right? And I'll share some of those things with us tonight. And then you've got to brand and package yourself. How you present and promote and sell yourself is really crucial. You are a product, and you need to make yourself attractive to the key players in the industry. Now, when the key players know you and you've packaged yourself in a powerful way, whenever the key word is opportunities, because there will be lots of opportunities this year, right? And those opportunities are going to go to certain people. They are going to go to the people who do the things that I am talking about here. Okay. Now, next thing, so that was number 4. Now, the fifth thing is your CV or your resume. Now, this is a big one. Your CV or your resume. Now, I'll say something right now. Your CV is not your job history. It's not your job history. It's not a list of all the jobs you have done. Your CV is a sales document. It's like your CV is, and I really want you to get this one, because this is where a lot of people don't understand how powerful a CV is. They don't understand this. I can tell you right now that for most people, right, all you need is to revamp your CV, and within a month, you could grow your income by £10,000. I'm going to say that again. For most people who are on this webinar, all you need, who are listening to this session, all you need is to revamp your CV, and within a month, you can grow your income by £10,000. Now, your CV is like, it's a salesperson. Now, I'd like you to imagine that you own a business. So let me put this in perspective for you. You own a business and you have two salespeople who work for you, okay? Now, one of them's a really brilliant salesperson and the other one is pretty much lame, not very good. So let's say these two salespeople, they make 10 sales calls a day. The first one makes 10 sales calls and they get 1 sale. The other person also makes 10 sales calls and he gets 7 sales. Now, so let's say the product they're selling is, I don't know, £100. One person makes £100 for you. The other person makes £700 for you. They both work the same amount of time. They both saw the same number of potential clients. One got 1 sale, the other got 7 sales. What is the difference between these two people? The difference between them is one did a better job at selling your product than the other person did. Now, that's just what a CV is like. I talked about the fact that I got my CV out to over 100 companies and I kept getting rejection. You know why? Because my CV was just, it was like everybody else's CV out there. DJ is a highly conscientious hard worker with strong communication skills. He's and all the funny things people have. He's collaborative and all these other and everybody's CVs, they look the same. They don't stand out. They're boring. Now, I mean, I train recruiters on how to evaluate CVs, and I can tell you right now that there's 84 people who apply for every job, and only 5 of them are shortlisted. Okay, now. They don't waste time. They don't, if your CV doesn't jump out and get their attention from the very get-go, the CV ends up in the bin. 95% of CVs are just bland. They're boring. They all say the same thing. They don't sell you. Your CV actually is a sales document for your next job position. I'll say that again. Your CV is a sales document, not your job history. Your CV is, don't just put your job history on there. It's meant to engage and compel them to want to invite you to an interview. Your CV is a significant, if not the most important document in your career. It's your CV. You definitely want to revamp it. You definitely want to invest in making your CV stand out from the crowd. You want to. That's number 5. Now let's move to this one. The other two are our social network, or the internet, and we're going to talk about that. The world is evolving this year. So I've talked about five things you want to work on, and the other 2 are here. The internet, and I'm predicting this, and it's already happening, that what organizations are going to be doing now, what recruiters are going to be doing is they're going, you see, the best people right now are already engaged. They're not looking for work. So you see, what a lot of recruiters are doing now, and they're going to be doing a lot more of, is they're going to be going online and headhunting people. And they'll be headhunting people, and they will look for you online, find you online, and then if they like what they see, they would invite you in to come and apply for a role, or they will actually sometimes offer you the role if they, maybe invite you straight up for interview. Now, few things you want to do is you want to look at LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn is super, super crucial. Now, when I say LinkedIn, I'm not talking about just going on to LinkedIn. That's not enough. LinkedIn is the most important cross-industry professional network around. Now, if you're not on LinkedIn, first of all, get on LinkedIn. That's the first thing. If you're not on LinkedIn, and if you really want to see your career soar this year, get on LinkedIn. It's just crucial, right? Now, when people Google you, one thing they expect to see is a LinkedIn profile. They just do. Now, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, these days, a lot of organizations probably won't take you seriously. That's the truth. But not just that. What is on your LinkedIn profile? Just having a bland profile like, well, I'm on LinkedIn because a friend invited me. No, not in 2015, right? LinkedIn provides you one of the best opportunities to increase your visibility and credibility with key influencers in your industry. It's a powerful tool to be able to present yourself. It's a powerful tool for you to be able to connect. Like I said, one of the key things you want to do is to build relationship with key industry leaders. Now, LinkedIn gives you the opportunity to connect with and build relationships with key industry players. It's amazing how you can connect with key players using the power of LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is not where you're adding friends and family. Don't just invite all your friends and family onto LinkedIn. That's not what it is. It's a business network. If you want to do that on Facebook. Okay, but your LinkedIn profile must be compelling. Just like your CV must be compelling and powerful, your LinkedIn profile must be compelling. It must get people thinking, wow, I like what this person has on here. So you've got to put your best foot forward. That's what I'm trying to say. This year, 2015, go back and revamp your LinkedIn profile and look at putting your best foot forward. Okay. I did talk about the fact that potential employers will Google you. Another thing that you might want to look at, you don't have to do this, but this is for those who really, really, really want to take their careers to the next level, right? And this one is blogging. Now, there's something powerful about blogging. Blogging is a powerful way to position yourself as a key player in your industry. It really is. I mean, first of all, if you're on LinkedIn, you're engaging on LinkedIn, you're doing all of that. And then, you create a blog as well, where you start to write commentary on important information which is relevant to your industry. You begin to write or even find or promote articles which are related and relevant to your industry. You begin to comment on key issues within your industry. You see, what happens is when organizations, and they do this, it's real, they will Google you. So whether it's your current employers or whether it's other companies who are interested in you, recruitment consultants who are interested in you, they will Google you. They see your blog, they see what you have on there. It just does something. It positions you. Now, a lot of people aren't doing this just yet. Those who are doing it, it's really making a big difference for them. If you can, if you can, start a blog, start an industry-specific blog, and then just start to comment on what's happening in your industry. Get engaged, and there's things you can do where you can link this to LinkedIn, and you can join groups in LinkedIn. That's another thing. Join the groups, join the professional bodies, and network like crazy. Don't just join the professional body just so you can say I'm a member of this body, but attend the meetings, network with people online as well as offline. And connect with real people, and build strategic relationships. Crucial things that will make a big difference. Okay. All right. So let's talk about promotion. Promotion really is a very big one. You've got to learn to sell yourself. Now, if the head of the department is in the escalator with you, or if you're walking from the train station and you're walking to the office and then you bump into the head of your department. Now, question, what are you going to talk about? Are you going to talk about the weather? Are you going to be talking about the weekend? Is that what you're going to do? Now, my question, if you bump into the head of your department and you're walking from the train station to the office or from the bus stop to the office and you're talking about the weather, do you think they're going to remember that conversation? Or you're talking about the weekend? Do you think they're going to remember that conversation? Have you thought about the conversation to have when you bump into that person? Something that's going to make them think about you and think, right? Now, What's the reason why some people, they just seem to know what to say in moments like that? You know why? Because they have prepared for those moments. They've asked themselves, what is the kind of conversation that I can have with this person that they would find interesting, would find relevant, and will stick in their minds and let them perceive me in a certain way, so when certain opportunities arise, they will think about me. So questions about particular projects. So questions about work that they're involved in. Now, you ask them questions, guess what they're going to do? They're going to talk about that stuff. And then when you throw in a contribution that maybe is useful, they notice that. That's the sort of thing that you want to do. But the thing is, when you see people and it seems like they do it on the spur of the moment, that's not usually the case. They were just preparing. They had prepared and they were waiting for their moment because they knew that that moment was going to come at some point. So you want to do what I call develop bragging statements to promote yourself strategically. Now, this is something that I'm very particular about, and that's statements that you can make that basically they're bragging without being obnoxious. And so you read and invest, and basically if you've been investing in yourself and developing yourself, you realize that, so read what the people who you want to build relationship with are reading. Go where they go to those events, plug yourself into the knowledge that they're exposed to right now. So then you then want to create several bragging statements that you can use in a short period of time. So you can come across as confident and assured, but the key thing is not obnoxious or arrogant. Okay, so they're just short statements, and sometimes you can use them in a meeting. You can use them during a meeting. You can use them, maybe while you're having lunch with a boss or something. You can use those statements, or while you're going up in the lift or escalator, while you're whatever it is. But you meet them, and when you meet them, you just say these things because you have prepared these things beforehand, and they just make a difference. They sell you like crazy. They really do sell you like crazy, right? So you want to get your career out of the slow lane into the fast lane in 2015, and these are crucial things that you want to do. You want to do, if you do these things that I've mentioned, if you can just go ahead and just do all 7 of these things that I've shared with you. You know what? I'll just go back and I'll just run through them very quickly, just to jog your memory. I know you've been taking notes, but first, so define where you're going, have a failure-proof action plan, identify who the key players are, brand and package yourself, work on revamping your CV. Okay, so, and also make sure that you work on your social media presence, internet, your online presence, work on that. And then finally, learn how to promote, learn how to brag, learn how to sell yourself when the opportunity arises. Now, you do this and you will get your career out of the slow lane and into the fast lane in 2015. You will be building your career intentionally. You will be doing something that most people who are working in your same industry or in the same organization with you are not doing. You will become one of the 5%ers who are strategic about their careers rather than hoping and wishing that things will just happen for them. So I talked about how to get a foolproof, a failure-proof action plan. Now, this is a good way to do it. Find 5 key players. You can find them on LinkedIn, but it doesn't have to be. You might be 5 key players in the organization where you work. And ask for 15 to 30 minutes of their time. If they're at work, ask if you can have lunch together. Okay? And a few of them will say yes. So, take someone who is where you want to be. Someone who is where you want to be. Take them out for lunch if you can, right? And then while you're with them, you're having a conversation. This is the question I'd like you to ask them. If you were in my shoes today and your goal was to be in the position you are in today, how would you go about it? So if you're in my shoes today and you wanted to be where you are right now with the things you have learned over time, how would you go about it? Now, if you ask 3 people this, you probably get 3 different answers, but you'll notice some common themes. And from the knowledge they share with you, ask them more probing questions. You'll be surprised how much people are willing to share when they see a person who is who has strong aspirations to grow their careers and to be where they want to be. People love to help people like that. I mean, you know you do. If someone comes to you who wants to achieve what it is you've achieved and they're asking you questions, wouldn't you really want to share with them and encourage them and tell them and advise them? Well, guess what? They will do the same thing for you as well. So you sit down and ask them these questions and just take loads of notes. And from the things they share with you, put together a game plan, right? Now, you put together a game plan, you have a winning game plan there that you can take, you can just adapt and you can run with and you can make happen for yourself. So ladies and gentlemen, that now I'm just going to stop sharing my screen now and I'm going to come back. So, wow. Okay, great. So I'm just, wow, we have, wow, quite a number of us here. I hope this has been useful. A couple of things. Now, first of all, if you do have any questions, this is a good time to ask questions. It's just about 9 o'clock, so I might be able to take a couple. But what I will share with you is this. Now, I've shared with you, this is not theory. This is not something I've made up. This is what helped me to double my income from a job in 12 months. Now, it happened for me in my role, in a particular role in that organization. And from there, things began to happen. And not only has it happened for me, the exact same thing I shared with you, I've shared with so many other people over the years who've been able to apply this and to see progression in their career. If you take this, you adapt this, and you grow this and work with what I shared with you, you will have a brilliant year. You will see it will make a big difference in your career in the year 2015. Now, I'm going to do something very, very quickly. I talked about CV. And I'm going to give us, this is for those of us who are here tonight, obviously. It's a free CV. The most important element of your CV is what's called your professional summary, that very top bit where you briefly introduce yourself. If you don't get the professional summary right, if you don't get that bit right, the problem is, if you don't get the professional summary right, unfortunately, because when a recruiter's going through CVs, they don't read the whole thing. They look at the professional summary first, what you might call the personal summary or professional profile. And if the professional summary doesn't get there, if it doesn't stand out, if it doesn't wow them, your CV ends up in the bin. They don't even look at the rest of it. So the professional summary is the most important aspect of your CV. And what I've done is I've done a short training video where I actually guide you on how to craft a winning CV professional summary. And I'm going to give this, for those of us who are here tonight, I'm going to give you an opportunity to get this free of charge. So I've just clicked, there we go, how to craft. It should be showing up on your screen now, so definitely look at it. Get your free CV training video, how to craft an attention-grabbing professional summary. So just click on I'm interested, and that will take you to the registration page. And just actually let me just make sure that link works. There we go. So just go ahead and go there and claim that video. And get the video. It's about 5 minutes or so, 5 to 10 minutes. Watch the video, and literally it would guide you to actually craft an attention-grabbing professional summary. If anything, you get your CV out, you use that tonight, get your CV out tomorrow, and it would start to produce better results for you. Wow, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just see if we have any questions. No questions, but I hope you got value from this session. I hope this has really helped you to begin to see how you can position yourself. I know there's a fair bit you need to do, a fair bit you need to learn, you've got to, but this really will help you to move your career to the next level. It will help you to be one of those high flyers whose careers are soaring, where everybody else is wondering what's going on. People are going to gossip and they're going to whinge and moan and say things about you, but you don't need to worry about that because you are flying. Thanks a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, very, very quickly, because I am aware that and I'm going to be making, I'll be talking about this throughout the event anyways. If you missed out on the opportunity to get the free audio, to get the audio recordings of all 10 sessions, Okay, someone said you had a question. Please type your question. Of all 10 sessions, I'm just going to, I'll share the link here. I'll share the link here so you can just go ahead and get it straight away. So I'll share it. You can go ahead and get it again. So the way it works is, I believe I'm not sure how much it is, but go ahead and have a look at it. It's a special discounted price. If you missed out on it when you registered, you can go ahead and use that. Okay, should I have only one CV, or should I tailor my CV to the job I'm applying for? Now that's a good question. You should have one main CV, but you should look at adapting your CV for different roles you're applying for. But you will have one major CV that's targeted. I can't go into a lot of detail around this because we don't have time, but you have one major CV that is targeted specifically for, so you kind of know the job you're going for, what the job title is, and what you do, and I'll just quickly share this with us. So for example, this is the kind of job I'm going for. This is the job title. What you then do is you get a few job descriptions, and so you know generally what they look for people who do that kind of role, and you make sure that you have elements of that woven into your CV, into your main CV that's out there in the mainstream. Okay, and that's also what will impact on how you put together your LinkedIn profile as well. Okay, however, if you want to apply for specific roles, sometimes you can then go and tweak your CV and prepare it for the particular role that you're looking to apply for. I hope that answers your question. Okay, great. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this has been absolutely wonderful. We have another session in just under an hour. We've got Kemi, and she's going to be doing a very, very powerful session, which is called the Thought Transformation Process that will ensure you have a brilliant year. Now, I said a little bit about mindset. She's going to go into this. Now, mindset is really, really crucial. And tonight she's going to be going into detail around that. Don't miss tonight's session. Do whatever it takes. If it's late at night for you, I don't know, but put your feet in cold water or something. Drink lots of coffee. I don't know, but just be here because it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal session. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be taking loads of notes, and I encourage you to be here as well. It's just, okay, last question, and then we're going to end this session. Is your CV the same as what you put on your LinkedIn profile? Yes and no. It forms the foundation of it, but there's a little bit more. There's a little bit more because there's a little bit more to LinkedIn than just what's on your CV. But yes, you start with your CV and you use your CV to build your LinkedIn profile, but there's more to your LinkedIn profile than your CV. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. I look forward to being with you in an hour. I hope you got great value from this session. I will be getting an email out to you for you to give us your testimonials on each session and what you've learned from it and how useful it was for you. We have 9 more sessions to go, and I am excited. I know I'm going to be learning so much. I'm going to be getting so much value out of this. I'm going to be attending, and I'm going to be taking notes, and I want to encourage you to do the same thing. All right. So if you didn't book the audio packages from all 10 sessions, I've shared the link there with you. And just go ahead and click on the link, and you pay $1 now, and then after 30 days, it's $37. That's how much it is. By the time the event's over, it's going to be $97. So you want to save $60 here tonight. All right. Thanks, everybody. And have a wonderful one, and I look forward to being with you in just under an hour. God bless you.